this question, there are two parts to it. So I plan to pursue an MBA in a different domain, right? There are two things. Will my work experience count? I'm going to address it in two parts, as I said. The first part is for your admissions purpose, right? See, many a times business school admissions officer, what are they looking at? They're looking at, if you look at it, right, they're getting some input, raw material in terms of a pre-MBA graduate, right? They're pushing him through a process called an MBA, and the output at the end of the day to the school, right? The school will have academic intentions, the school will have like alumni intentions, all of those said and done. Many times the schools also measure whether they have done justice to a MBA candidate in terms of whether they have been able to find a placement for that person. So at the admission stage, you might probably want to have a story that is more likely to give conviction to the admissions officer that you are a product that 2 years down the line is likely to find the job, right? Let's say you've been working in tech and you say that I want to pursue investment banking career. There are people who have shifted for it. It is possible. But if you're saying I have worked in tech and I've worked in tech where I've worked in the retail vertical in tech and I want to move into investment banking, there is nothing that basically gives credibility to your story, right? Person will read it, hey, he's done in tech, he's a coding guy, and this person has worked in the retail vertical. And now he wants to go into investment banking post an MBA. How likely is he likely to find a job? So the admission officer might have inhibitions and will have reservations about offering you a job. So at the admission stage, you might want to have a story which is more cohesive to what you did, and that could basically land up with an admission for you. The second is what is likely to happen as a post-MBA career. Post-MBA career, to a large extent, if you desire to, let's say, shift from retail vertical tech, you want to get into investment banking. Two things. One, don't with too much experience. You have 7 years of experience in, like, let's say, retail vertical and IT, and you want to shift to investment banking, chances of you making it is also that much lesser post an MBA. So have your ambitions which are more grounded, which are more realistic to what you have done. Right. Whereas if you have only 2 years of experience, which is not much, and you're done in some vertical here and you want to shift to investment banking, that is more likely to happen. So do a bit of research before saying that I want to shift domain. You might want to shift domain to finance, but it might not be in investment banking. It could be in like retail lending. It could be in those kinds of areas. So have a broader domain in mind. And the second important thing is, pre-MBA, we have some preconceived notions about what you want to do, what career you like, and all of those things. When you do an MBA, when you land up with some summer internship jobs, your ideas change. Basically, you're not aware of certain career options existing in a pre-MBA days at all. I'll give you an example. We had a student in 2005 who went to Purdue University. He used to work for an Indian software company as the sales head for their North America region. Took his GMAT, got into Purdue. He had his idea about moving from sell-side IT to buy-side IT. He used to tell me, Baskar, this is what I want to do. I want to get into a large bank, be in the buy-side of IT, and then come back to India and then offshore those processes. That's the best of both worlds is what he said. Hey, I want to be sitting in Bangalore. I want to be sipping coffee in Chennai and heading an offshore unit for an American bank. So I get expat salary. I live a Chennai life. This was his dream before he left India for his Purdue MBA. When did his MBA? First year of MBA, he got a job with a large axle manufacturer called Eaton Inc. He, at the end of the summer internship, said, this is not IT job, this is an ops job. I never thought there was such a role that existed, and such a role is cut out for someone like me. So many times what we think of as job opportunities, career opportunities that are existing pre-MBA is basically because we are not aware of the entire universe of jobs that are available to us post-MBA. My thing is, yes, have an ambition. Say that I want to shift a domain. I'm not saying all of those are wrong. Work toward it. If you're basically wanting to move into investment banking, then do some courses. It could be edX course, it could be Coursera courses, it could be NSE courses. If you might probably want to clear CFA level 1 to say that, hey, I am someone who is doing things to kind of justify my shift. Do that if you want to. But also go with an open mind, because you might come up with job opportunities and career opportunities which have not thought of, which are ideally cut out for you, right? So keep this open mind in mind. It is possible to shift, but if you're shifting, have enough points to justify in your CV, both for admissions as well as for post-MBA career. And an MBA in many top business schools is not something like you don't start by saying that it's an MBA in finance. You join an MBA, the degree is also awarded as an MBA. The second year, the kind of courses that you choose is what makes you an MBA in finance or MBA in marketing. So at that point in time is when you actually choose what your specialization is. So at the admission stage, I would want you to have a story which would give confidence to the admissions officer that 2 years down the line, you're likely to get a job, right? So keep this perspective in mind.